All right, just want to take a second here and explore how this happened. Get completely nonpartisan and not the ethic or the value of what happened in this 2012 election, but how it actually happened, how the numbers break down. Because let me set it up this way. If you came to me with no names and no character, nothing else in terms of the actual candidates, but just told me, we have an incumbent, unemployment is almost 8%, it actually is higher than when he took office, GDP growth is slower than the previous average of the previous predecessor, incomes are down, inflation is up, the economy is bad. We'll go shorten it and go there. You tell me all those things are true. You tell me the challenger, whoever it is, wins the independent vote by 5. You tell me that this challenger, who usually typically loses what we call in politics the gender gap, the gap between men who typically vote for Republicans, women who more typically vote for Democrats, has closed that gap incredibly well. I would say to you, well, of course the challenger won. The Republican won in that without a question. But that was this election, and it didn't happen. All of the fundamentals should have led to, rationally, Mitt Romney win, and it didn't happen. So how? How is that possible? And just want to share with you, after I got some exit polling, how this actually took place. First place to start is this thing called the DRI split. We have a DRI split, and that is of the electorate who voted, who showed up. In 2008, people like me thought it was an anomaly, that Democrats had 39, Republicans were at 32, and independents were at 29. This number is gigantic. I mean, 7% more. I mean, this a big number of the electorate was Democrat more than Republican, and the president only won by 7% in 2008. What we admired in terms of just political savvy, not the person himself, was Barack Obama wasn't doing the traditional thing, which is just winning the middle, although he did in that election, 2008. He was creating new voters out of thin air. People that never ever vote. A great deal of the minority vote. Young people never vote. And they came out in droves for him in 2008 and just swamped everything. In 2010, though, when Republicans just destroy Democrats, we thought, prognosticators, that was the natural set of things, because it ended up being 35-35, and independents had the balance. It was an even election, and independents went by 11 points to Republicans all over the country in that 2010 election when we took 66 seats in the House, or whatever it was, 61 seats, took some seats back in the Senate. We thought this was normal, because historically, it's only a little bit of a Democrat advantage. But now, after seeing it last night, because again, on independents, if you just take this group of voters, which a lot of times decide elections, Barack Obama beat John McCain in 2008 by 8 points with independents. In some states, it was a lot more. Nationwide last night, Mitt Romney beat Barack Obama with independents by 5. He beat him by 5. I'd also mention that the number one issue that people said was on their mind was the economy, and Mitt Romney won the exit poll on economy. People said, yeah, I trust Mitt Romney more, and he won it by a pretty good margin. So that's another thing to add. If someone told me the challenger is trusted more on the economy, he wins independents by 5, well, of course he won the election. In the end, though, last night, it was 39-31-29. This that we never thought would happen again, happened again. All the independents waved the Republican way, but it could not overcome the base turnout. Barack Obama, quietly and slowly along the way, pulled his base together in big numbers, and they turned them out big for early voting. Along the way, he announced that somewhat of an amnesty for certain types of illegal immigrants, and fired up his Hispanic base and got them moving ready to go. Along the way, he announces, I'm now in favor of gay marriage, and fired up his young people along the way and got them moving. Declared that Republicans were waging a war on women and got women fired up along the way. He took individual small pieces of his coalition. I mean, he was early on his payoff with the unions. The stimulus package essentially was a payoff to unions. They got most of that money. And he put together, cobbled enough of that electorate to win last night. Now, he won a decent amount of electoral college votes, but the popular vote was a lot closer than it was during the McCain election. He won, Barack Obama won this thing in the same way that Bush won in 2004. Bush lost to Kerry on independent voters. He lost by 3 or 4 points with independent voters. On the economy question, we weren't really worried about the economy as much in 2004. It was about even. But Bush found every single evangelical Christian in the country and got them to the polls. And there was at least 10 states that cycle with marriage amendments on their ballot, and people were just getting to the polls to vote for that, and while they were there, voted for Bush. It worked because Bush found his core, his base, and he pushed them to the polls. Barack Obama did the exact same thing last night. He lost the middle and still won the election somehow or another. But that's the numbers, and I wanted to toss it out there. Second part of this is anytime anybody loses an election, the side that loses, Democrats did this too when they were getting whipped throughout the 2000s, got to reassess who we are and think about the Republican brand. I have been a skeptic of that for a while. My thought is, though, this could become normal. This monster that Barack Obama has created could stay. The electorate might have shifted. It might not be an anomaly. Now, it might. Barack Obama just might be a once-in-a-generation figure. Guy who just fires up every type of Democrat-based voter that Bill Clinton couldn't fire up, and John Kerry couldn't fire up, and Al Gore couldn't fire up. He might just be that. I look at if this is a football game, I look at their bench. It's very thin. There's not a lot of talent back there. Maybe this is an anomaly, but maybe it's not. And I've always been the guy who said conservatism is universal. Conservatism says to everybody, because we believe everyone is equal, every Hispanic, every African American, every Asian, every woman, we don't even see that. We just see everyone as an individual, and you'll be fine. If the government will get out of your way, you will achieve. You can do this on your own. That is what conservatism preaches to people. I don't know apparently it's not connected. Those individual groups might need some sort of outreach. I don't know what it is yet or how and where the connection points would be. But if this persists, if they're going to keep showing up, we've got to pull some of them. We can't keep getting destroyed in the Hispanic vote. We just can't do it. We've got to find a way. I've got some ideas we could toss out and think about later, but as for 2012, this is what happened. They just found all their voters. They went and found all their voters, got them out. And our coalition, even +5 on independent voters, even winning them, was not bigger than their coalition. It's as simple as that. We'll get back to the war here soon. There's going to be a lot of stuff to fight over the next 4 years, but just as a debrief, what happened, why did it go that way? That's the numbers. Thanks for listening.